So right now we're looking at an economy where the rich keep stacking the chips on top, the middle class, which is the foundation, is crumbling. And what does that look like? A Jenga game. And when you step back and you look at it, it's wobbling all over the place. The economy right now is really faltering, and we're really in a bad position. So today, that's going to be our top topic. We got a couple things we want to talk about as well: the markets, the shutdown, yada yada yada. Y'all know how we do. Welcome to Money Church. This is the Black Wealth Rebels presentation. We got my brothers Jimmy and Corey here, and we're going to have a funky good time. What's up, gents?
What's going on?
I'm great, man. I woke up this morning. I'm good, man. How y'all brothers doing, man?
I'm blessed and highly favored.
Yeah. So what's going on, man? Everything good? Everything good, Corey? You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You know what I mean? It's football Sunday, you know what I'm saying? I'm already getting smoked fantasy-wise, but it is what it is, man.
Listen, man, I already told you my situation, so I'm a little depressed right now.
Corey ain't got that black hoodie energy today.
No, man, they his fire stick, man. He playing games with my brother's fire stick, man. Pause, like
enlightenment day, man.
You know what I'm saying? So he kind of, they got him in the doldrums right now, man.
Yeah, I gotta find another workaround, man, because they just I think my John got my
They zapped you. They zapped him all. They got him all crazy. They got him crazy.
I think I got zapped. So,
yo, they still do that?
Oh yeah.
What? Are you kidding me? It's a cat and mouse game, man. It's gonna be forever, man, and forever.
I don't have any of those. I don't have any of those gadgets, so I'm totally out of the loop.
I mean, I get it, man. You got too much money for that, man. You young Ascot. You know what I'm saying? Ascot Mar in the building.
Why don't you play that video, man?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Man, let's get to the show before you.
Corey, I'm not going. Listen, I'm not doing this with him, pause. But with that being said, I don't know what video his brother's talking about, man. Jarrell's in the building. What's up, Jarrell?
What up, Jarrell? Happy Sunday, brother.
Hey, Jarrell, you getting any sleep? Jarrell? Because I know you got the youngster, man. You know what? About a week old. He got a week old. So
Yeah, that's always fun.
Only if your wife is allowing him to get sleep. Because I know when my wife sleep through the night, I was night duty.
Oh, you had night duty, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, man. But congratulations again, beloved. Everything's good though, man. I don't know if everything's good in the economy, but waking up is a blessing to me, man.
Everything is good in the economy.
Stacking these sats is all I care about.
I mean, listen, the economy is standing tall right now, but we read some reports today talking about the middle class and how they're slowing down their spending. And a lot of times when you see these reports about the GDP and everything that's happening, they really are only focusing on the top 1%. Because a lot of times they push a lot of things up higher, but when you dig deep, you will see that the middle class is struggling.
I guess to me, what defines the middle class in 2025? That's kind of what I really want to know. Like, and I don't even know how they define the middle class. Is it by income? Is it by net worth? Like in 2025, how are we defining the middle class?
How do you define it?
I don't think it exists
at all.
Nope.
So you don't think there's nobody in the middle?
Nah, I don't think there's anybody in the middle either.
I think we have a tale of two cities in every city.
Good times,
rich, yeah. You either rich or you not rich. That's it. There's no in between.
Yeah, but I mean, mathematically, there is a middle, right? There are people in the middle mathematically. I would say that range, and I guess I should look it up and see what it is.
But are you saying that based on income or work?
Let's say income.
Okay. All right. So you're saying that based on income, right? So there's a median, and also there's a median when it comes to income. Absolutely, right. There is mathematically there.
Anywhere between 200,000 and 75,000.
But the problem with that is, what kind of life does that afford you, right? Because if you're just basing it on income, right, that's all numbers. So you're going to have a middle point, you're going to have a mode, you're going to have a median, and you're going to have a mean. However, the purchasing power that exists within that number is where the problem lies. That's why I said there's no middle class. Because mathematically you can have a number, but how can you afford to live, right?
How can you afford to live? Is that a real?
How can you? No, it's an absolutely real question, right? Because here's why.
Every dollar you make, you can spend.
Here's what I'm saying though. Hear me out.
People that make $65,000 a year don't have enough money to pay rent, to buy food, to buy a car, to buy clothing. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Because the cost of living is so expensive that even if you're I don't know this to be the number, but let's just say it's 75,000. 75,000 in 2025 is not the equivalent of making 75,000 in 2010, right? So if the number is 75,000, which is the number, because we're talking about just math here, mathematically you'll have a number, but what does it allow you to buy? Your purchasing power has been eroded. This is why I laugh when people talk about like the whole 6-figure income, because when the whole 6-figure income became like a talking point back in the 80s, making $100,000 back then is the equivalent of making like 400 and some odd thousand now, right? So it's a whole different thing to say, hey, I'm a 6-figure earner. 6-figure earner, right? When that became like a cliche, was the equivalent of making 400,000 now. Making $100,000 in 2025 is not the same as making $100,000 in 1985. Okay,
so according to the Pew Institute, they are saying middle class is anywhere between income-wise, $50,000 to $125,000 annually.
Now, hear me out though. You know what I'm saying? And there's a steep variance between average and mean. Absolutely. So the mean and the median are completely different.
That's not over technical, this thing, Jimmy.
I'm not trying to over technical it, but I was responding to what Emeka said in the chat. That's all I'm saying. There is a steep variance between the mean and the median. There absolutely is. But the point that I'm making is, if the Pew Charitable Trust is saying that $50,000 means that you're in the middle class, you can barely survive in Philadelphia on $50,000, right? Right. I remember years ago making $50,000 in the city of Philadelphia. You could be a homeowner, you can kids in school, you can, buy groceries. You can't do that in 2025 with $50,000.
But you can do it with 125. And then it also depends on. So here's the other thing, right? We also had to talk about the history, because depending on what people did in the past, how they allocated their money, whether it was in investments or business or whatever, could definitely impact their business or their lifestyle today. Hey, Carol. Hey, Carolyn, how you doing? Happy Sunday.
All right, so if you make $50,000, right? Let's just say, for argument's sake, after taxes, you keep 65% of that or whatever, right? So you're bringing in about $32,500.
Let's say $600 a week.
So you're bringing in you're bringing in about $2,700 a month. The average rent is about 18 and some change, which means that now you have about $900 for the rest of your life.
You spent three-quarters of your money on rent.
Is that nationwide, Jim?
I'm specifically speaking about Philadelphia when I give these numbers. Nationwide, the average rent is problem. I don't know what. Let me see. Let me check that now. The average rent nationwide. Average rent nationwide. So let's see what the average rent nationwide is right now. 2-bedroom average rent across the country is about $1,800. So if you make $50,000, that means that it is the same thing, right? So you're talking about having about $800 to $900 after paying rent for your entire rest of your life. We didn't talk about having a car note, groceries, phone, clothing.
So going really to the premise, right? The economy is in a Jenga type pattern. Like it's really looking crazy.
Yeah. But that was my point. My point is, sometimes when people talk about the middle class, they put these numbers out here, like a $50,000 income being middle class is insane. That's why me,
125. So, but again, the premise was the economy is jacked up. Agree?
Yes. No, that I agree with. I just want to make sure we're clear on this, because even at 125 is problematic, right? Especially if you have a house. So 125, if you're single, you're great. But 125, you start having a family. I mean, you got to feed, you got kids to feed. This is why I'm saying, like, it's a problem. So it is Jenga. It's a problem. There is no middle class, which is how we got into this conversation. Like, this whole idea of it being a middle class is a joke. This is why they're trying to give it. This is why they try to give us 50-year mortgages now, just to like lower our monthly payment.
I think that's super wild. And
hold up, and getting rid of the requirements. Like, so basically, there's no he said a 50-year mortgage and no credit score requirement.
Is that
so? Well, Fannie Mae specifically is talking about changing the credit requirements. But the point is, the reason that we're playing all these different games is trying to hold something up that is, I don't know if it wants to be held up, and it's only so long fake thugs can pretend. So we're playing all these little gymnastics without getting to the root of the issue.
Okay, and what would you say the root of the issue is?
Bad money. Fix the money, fix the world.
And define bad money.
Bad money is consistently printing money, right, and not getting to. It's really at the end of the day, all this is really about budgeting. If you want to get down to the root cause of it, it's about budgeting. Our budgeting is way off base. Our spending. Excuse me.
Government, or are you talking individual?
Both. BOFF. Both. As individuals, we have budgetary problems, but as a government, even more so than us, is budgetary problems, right? If we go back years and years and years, back even to the 70s, and we start looking at our spending, right? Our spending has been out of control, right? A lot of this stuff is fairly simple. It's complex when you get into the nuances of it, but I'm talking about from a simplistic standpoint. You have bills you have to pay, right? And you keep writing these checks that you can't clear, and you just print more money to clear them, and that consistently happens and happens and happens. And we're inflating ourselves to the point where the average rent is $1,800, right? Remember back in the day, you can get a 2-bedroom apartment for $500.
Those days are long gone.
And this is what I'm saying. So the consistently not being able to budget and printing our way out of problems, it's like we're just kicking the can and kicking the can and kicking the can. And at some point, you know, in the words of Brother Malcolm, and the chicken's going to have to come home to roost, man. Like, because you can't keep doing that.
I mean, I would agree. I mean, what's the average debt in America right now?
That's a good question. Let me check that for you. You know,
I don't. That's part of the problem, right? You know, you're talking about, you know, living above your means, to put it where the ghost can get it, right? People are spending typically way more than what they're making, and then so everything's out of whack.
Mm-hmm.
People are spending way more than they're making is because salaries aren't keeping up with inflation.
Well, that's part of it. That's
so people, but listen, so this is what happens, right? You get used to a lifestyle. I'm used to this certain kind of food. I'm living in a certain spot. My kids go to a certain school, blah blah blah. Then you're living in a place where your average salary is going up 3-4%, and your inflation is going up 10, 12, 15, 20%. Every time they put whatever percentage of money they put in, that's the percentage of your money doesn't make anymore. And on top of that, once prices go up, they never go back. So even when they restrict things in our economy, they never bring the prices back down. So the only way prices come back down is if those companies go out of business. And so those companies aren't going out of business because what they would rather do is they will cut your hours and cut your salary. They will cut people, but they will not cut prices. And so that's the times we're living in. So you're talking about people with money, with fixed incomes, with inflationary money.
Okay.
So how do you reconcile that?
Right.
Yo, we're talking about bad money.
We say all that, right? We got what should a person do at this?
Right. Real quick, I want to answer your question you asked. I looked it up. The average debt is hovering around 100,000, but it's really different based upon the age range, right? In terms of like what generation. I mean, obviously the younger have less debt, but most debt in this country are from people between the ages of 40 to 55, our generation, Gen X. And the average debt for Gen Xers are about 135.8. Baby boomers carrying about 96.9. The silent generation about 41,000. Millennials, the average debt is about 78, and then Gen Z is about 10 grand. So, but the average overall is about $100,000.
Right. All right, but so we talked about the issues. What do we do? What are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? What should people do about it?
Okay, great question. The first thing is look at your own budget, right? We talk about the budget of the country and how they manage money. Let's talk about how we manage money, right? And really get to the nitty-gritty of what is something that you need versus something that you want to get your own house in order, right? There's things happening in the macro environment that you really don't have a control over right away. Now you can do that through putting the right people in power to, kind of manage that. But the first thing you want to do is take a look in the mirror. How can you fix your specific situation? How can you look at your household income, your household bills? And the reason I bring that up is because a lot of times when I sit down with a family, most of them have no idea how much they have coming in versus going out. They're just living and surviving. So take a pen and paper, literally write down how much money you have going in, how much you have going out, and don't lie to yourself. If you go to Wawa every day, or, I know all of y'all don't know what Wawa is. Maybe you go to Sheetz or Tim Hortons or wherever you go, 7-Eleven, write that down, right? And see how much money you truly are spending on just, frivolous things. Let's take a look at that. Then you have to figure out, how do I maintain or protect my purchasing power? You guys already know what I believe in doing that, right? Whether that's, some of you guys are going to want to run to gold, or you're going to try to make money in the market. I'm a Bitcoiner. It is what it is, but you got to figure out how to protect your purchasing power. And then you need to focus on your skills, right? Work on your skills to be able to create more income, to be able to save. We got to get back to saving as well, right? A lot of times we talk about these different investment techniques and all this, options trading and all these various vehicles, but we got to get back to the basics of just saving. You know what I'm saying? Food, shelter, saving, and spending wisely.
Well, we just talked about how costs are out of control. So how a $50,000 person really save? It's really, really hard. So to your point, skills and increased income are definitely going to have to be top priority right now.
I agree with that. Also, we have to take a look at because what I find is a lot of times people, what my mom used to tell me, you got champagne tapes with bare pockets, right? So someone with $50,000 is trying to live in a $2,000 a month condo. That ain't gonna work, beloved. You might have to be in a space that your money actually affords you to be in, right?
And the other thing is, the other thing I would say is to live in multi-generational spaces, right?
That'll work too.
We've gotten to the point where we're ruggedly individual, right? Nobody wants to live with anybody because everybody want to do whatever they want to do. But when times get tough like this, people need each other, and so we need to start that. Being able to live with our family members or people that we love in one space. You know what I mean? Like instead of buying the 2-bedroom apartment for $2,000, use that same $2,000 and get a 5-bedroom apartment in
5-bedroom house. I
mean not a 5-bedroom apartment, but a 5-bedroom house, and put that money towards the mortgage, and then where you can have some forced savings through equity, and make some money over time. Those are things that you can do. I mean, most people don't want to do those things, but in the times that we live in, that those might be things that we might have to go back to.
I got another opinion too, right? It's speaking of that, right? Because a lot of times when you think that, you think family. But to me, there's a difference between family and relative. You might have to start, build your own village, live around, what our homie Byron say, Core, live around your friends, right? Live close to your friends, build true community. I was reading something earlier. I got it right here. It says an 85-year Harvard study, it tracked 700 plus people and found the number one predictor of long-term health and happiness. It wasn't diet, money, or even genetics. It was the quality of relationships.
Yep.
This community is really the ultimate medicine for the body and the brain. So that was a Harvard study that was done over a long period of time, right? So we talk about community. We have to really get back to that, really supporting each other. And but sometimes, honestly, the way I look at it, sometimes that might not be your blood relative.
That's a fact. But listen, a really, really smart guy back in 2016 said the same thing you just said, Corey. Multi-generational living is definitely the way to go. But again, like you just said, I think too many of us are ego tripping, only really thinking about self, really thinking about what's in it for me. And to do that, because, my mother lives with me now, so I'm kind of doing that now. And I also see my cousins in the chat. His mother lives with him as well. Shout out to Morgan. What up, man?
Hey, Morgan, what's going on?
That one is a cheat code, right? Because you get to split the bills. Now, it doesn't always work out perfectly because I don't charge my mom anything. But you got to start introducing some of those things and start it early.
Yo, charging your mom rent as well. I'm glad you said that because I was about to say, come on, cuz.
No, but I'm saying
I know, I got you. I'm messing with you, bro. But the guy who wrote this article has an inflated ego too. So,
That's cool. He got an inflated ego because the people he's around all the time always trying to blame him. So, he has to do something to stop that combat what's going on. You know,
No, but this is listen. You
it was written
so
by Barry Ellis in January 22nd of 2016.
all right. So you wrote. Let's go over this real fast. Let's talk about this, right? You know, salute to you for putting the work in for so long. But I want to ask you a question.
We have 4 other topics there.
No, we do. But real quick though, we don't. And by the way, we don't necessarily have to hit every topic, Paul. Like we could, but because this is a great conversation. What I want to know is, you wrote this in 2016. Pull that back up. You wrote it in 2016, and you gave bullet points on the guide. I want to see how many of those bullet points are still relevant in 2025, going into 2026. That would make a decade since you wrote that. So the question is, what are the topics that you have, the main bullet points of that article you wrote?
I mean, it's all still relevant. I'll pull it. I'm going to redo it. I was thinking about waiting until next year to do it because that's
10 year revisit it in 10 years.
10 years. So I'll just go bullet point by bullet point, develop an abundance mindset.
Okay.
A lot of people have a problem with that. Brittany, I'll drop the link in the chat. I got you. That's number one. You could take it if you want. I mean, but we kind of always talk about that, right? I know you, Jim, was talking about how our ancestors always had to fight for survival, and they always found ways to generate hope, even in the darkest of times. So I think we have to bring that back because we are definitely in a dark time right
Man, listen, that reminded me last night. Me and Kamari was outside last night, and this sister had on a sweatshirt that was the illest sweatshirt I've ever seen in my life. It was a red, black, and green sweatshirt, but the joint said, "My ancestors are my ghostwriters."
Yeah, Stephanie had that on.
That's hard.
I was like, yeah, I need that.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I was like, I was online right there. I gotta get this. I'm biting this. Pause. Like that was fire. But anyway,
so point number 2 is legacy mindset, and it's funny. I haven't really looked at this list, but the same thing I believed then, I still believe now, and now I'm living through it. With my father passing, not to keep harping on that, but it's something top of mind for me right now, and it's something that my mother drilled into me. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, but a second wealth is laid up for the righteous. So that's Proverbs 13:22. My mother drilled that into me. Now, I don't claim to be a Christian, but I did grow up in a church. So, you know, those things, those lessons are still in me.
And as an aside, you're not harping on it. That's something that really affected you. So don't feel like you're harping on it.
But for me, it's like I keep having the same conversation almost every day. And it's like anytime somebody brings something up, I'm taking back the situation with me and my father. But
part of your life, bro.
You're right, Jim. I'm not harping on it.
No, you're not.
All right. So number 3, financial education. Jimmy just said, get your skills up. Same thing. It doesn't have to be formal education wise. It doesn't have to be formal. It could be informal or formal trade. Just sitting around with your elders sometimes. I think it's a great education, which goes back to the whole multi-generational living. How many lessons are we missing out on because we're not spending time with our elders?
Don't let school get in the way of your education.
Number 4, talk about money. I feel we don't talk about money enough in the proper context. Yeah, we love to talk about cars, jewelry, you know, and all those things, but we're not talking about what Jimmy really pushed back on about, like, how far is your money really going? It's great to make some money, but what can you really do with it? And what should you be doing with it? And when you do get some money, what should you be thinking about? Should you be thinking first about spending it, or should you be thinking first about investing and trying to build something with it? 5, destroy money myths. Money is the root of all evil. Capitalism is evil. Y'all know I hate when people talk about capitalism being evil. People are evil. Things are just things. Ideas are just ideas. People are evil. Money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. So, you know, that's a Bible verse that's often misquoted and got a lot of people. The only way to say this, fucked up in the game, because I feel it changes our mindset and how we approach things. Dominate STEM. Now, this one I would change. I was talking to our brother Akil online, and he made a great argument that I cannot refute.
That math should come before all the rest of them?
Math should come before it all. Now,
I saw that.
I'll make the argument that you need to read before you should be able to do math.
Okay. Well, his point specifically was about how they make it STEM. Right. So it's science, technology, you know, but he was saying that in order to have the science, technology, and all that, just in STEM, not taking it outside of that, just in STEM, that math is kind of the base of science, it's the base of technology, it's the base of the things that are incorporated in STEM. It's not bringing anything else. That's all he was saying.
Yeah,
That's all he was saying.
And so I was saying to him, because I used to believe in STEAM, right? Because I believe you need arts. You need arts not to be all stodgy. And because when you get these hard things, sometimes we get caught up in just the data and forget about the people. And the arts a lot of times help you to be flexible and amenable to more things.
Let me add something else to this conversation real quick, Kamar.
He said maps should still go first. So I said, all right, so should it be metas? But go ahead, Jim. What were you about to say?
Corey and I met a sister at the event on Thursday. She has a nonprofit, and she's actually talking about coming to our Saturday school.
Okay.
Her nonprofit is built around STEAMA, and I was like, STEAMA? What the hell is STEAMA? So it's the arts, like you said, STEAM, and they added agriculture to their education piece. So they do STEAMA, you know.
I like that. I do like that.
So salute to her, because you know,
that's part of the sciences, but she, you know, she broke that specifically out. She broke it out specifically
because we need to be able to feed ourselves.
Exactly.
No, I'm not disagreeing with why she did it. I like the fact that she broke it out.
Yeah, she broke it out and being its own thing.
Separated it from science.
She wants to teach the kids farming and growing food and things like that. So she's you know, went from STEM to STEAM to now STEAMA.
Gotcha.
Which is funny. We keep adding everything. We wanted to say education, but okay. It's like cable, right? We all went to these different streaming services. Now at this point, we might as well get cable again. But you know, it is what it is.
All right. So point number 7 is adequate life insurance. Don't be selfish. Jim, you and I talk about this a lot because we both licensed insurance agents. Many of us ran into many black brothers that was like, not getting no life insurance policy, so my lady can get a pink caddy. They didn't say lady, they probably said something else. But it was like, I'm not getting no pink caddy so they can move some dude in. And I say don't be selfish, because it's not about you, it's about you, but it's not solely about you. It's about making sure the next generation go into it. And this is kind of a pivot or an expansion on my other point about being legacy mindset.
I was going to say that.
I said, yeah, because the life insurance is about legacy. And life insurance, in my opinion, is one of the most efficient ways to transfer money and wealth, oftentimes without getting a super duper tax burden. And again, everything is nuanced, y'all. Everything's detailed. So make sure that you look at your own situation, right? Number 8, support Black-owned businesses. This is 2016 and we still having this goddamn conversation. We are still having this conversation. I think
we need to rebrand the support Black-owned businesses.
I'd say patronize, honestly, but
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I mean, maybe I'm overthinking it, right? But the word support,
I do say patronize now. I do say patronize, but it's still the same thing, because the reason, like, oh man, I wish I knew we was going to go down this rabbit hole, because my brother Nate just did a great review on all the critiques on the kitchens and cocktails restaurant here in Philadelphia. I mean, you're getting, and it's a Black-owned restaurant up and down the East Coast. I believe they're from Dallas. I think it's 8 establishments or something.
This makes Ace. The brother started in Dallas. He's an attorney by day, and he's a restaurateur. It's a side mission, and his restaurant business turned into a multi-million-dollar business. But salute to him.
But this restaurant hasn't been open for 2 weeks, and you got Black folks tearing it down online, which is infuriating.
But I told you my opinion yesterday when we was out to dinner last night. I told you, I was like, I don't think you can critique anything in its first 1 or 2 weeks. I don't care if it's a restaurant or anything else.
No, you cannot. But Nate made a great example, made a great point. And great is, I don't know what to call him, but he does bartending for a lot of luxury high-end events, just about every state. He said the same thing you said, Jim. How are you going to critique something that ain't even been open for a month? He was like, it's a new market. They got to learn how people do things here. And you only get that by doing it. You can't really just study it. It is what it is. Though.
That's what I said, I might wait to January, February, because at that point you work out your kinks, you figure out who the good people are that can work there. And we really, test it out then. Like all these places that, whether we're talking about like the Del Frisco's, the Steak 48s, the, Butcher and Singers, like if you went in their first week, it probably was chaos as well.
Absolutely. But we don't give grace to our folks, and this whole saying the white man's ice is colder is still relevant now. Sadly. All right, number 9, create Black-owned businesses. Many would say that's the same thing as number 8, but it's a little bit different. because a lot of times we consume a lot of products that we are not able to source from Black-owned folks. For example, at the time of writing this, there were no Black-owned pizza shops in the city of Philadelphia, at least that I knew about.
Mm-hmm.
Now I need at least know about one. Shout out to Little Trent's, and they make great pizza, great food. But
beef pepperoni go crazy.
Yes, it is. But I don't know about many. Like, who is manufacturing our sneakers? Who is manufacturing our hats? Who's manufacturing our food? And so I think we have a duty to us and our community to make sure we spend Black first, or at least create the opportunity to spend Black first.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Number 10, learning and embrace investing, not just real estate. Now you see the real estate.
50 Door Mar used to be a hater. I'm sorry.
Now my new name, and I got merch coming. 50 Door Mar has emerged. But listen, that is because of my dad's legacy. To be honest, I still, when you think about real estate, and I heard somebody say this, a lot of people get into real estate because they want to get rich right in the moment. They want to live, and their definition of rich is getting on yachts, getting rims, getting cars, getting jewelry. I wanted to help supplement my retirement a little bit, also, but ultimately to leave to my children and my grandchildren and their children come after me. So I'm not necessarily looking to live off that money per se anytime soon.
Well, see, this goes to my mental model of real estate, and this is as someone who is a real estate professional.
What, your 50 doors and Bitcoin bricks? No,
not even that. Okay. Your number 10 and number 9 are one and the same to me. I don't look at real estate as an investment at all. I look at real estate as a Black-owned business. So the way I see it,
that's right.
10 and 9 are one and the same. Like, to me, real estate's not an investment, because if I'm looking for strictly an investment, I can get better returns in the market, right? And by the way, you can just look, historically, don't argue with me. Look at the S&P 500 versus real estate. The S&P 500 is going to beat real estate. But the thing is, real estate is a business that gives you tax advantages, that allows you to create cash flow, that allows you to do all the things, you know what I'm saying? So you combine the two. Shout out to Down North Pizza, man. That's our bro. He was actually on our channel. We did an interview with him on our channel, so go check that out.
Yeah, and there were two partners that started it. Chef
yes,
Kurt, my guy too, and that's a great business as well. I still have not had their pizza, but I heard it's phenomenal.
What?
I heard it's phenomenal.
Shout out to the Better Love Pizza. All their pizzas are named after Philly hip hop songs, and Better Love is like the fire joint. So
all right, so TC, all right, thanks for the fact check. Right, so in 2016 there was none. In 2025 there are at least 2 that I know of. That's still not big. That's not a big moving of the needle, though.
But it is moving. So let's criticize it, but let's also say, good job.
It's not a criticism at all. It's just an observation. I'm not criticizing, because I think Little Trent's is dope. Again, like I said, I haven't had Down North Pizza, but their reputation precedes. Like, I haven't heard one bad review about them at all.
Also, I want to shout out Taste Steaks, right? Which is a Black-owned steak joint, right? Because we got high-level steak joints too, which is also a brother who is also on By the Hook podcast, but I digress.
Okay.
But Taste Steaks is they got a joint down there that I still haven't tried yet, because it costs like $50. They got an oxtail cheesesteak that's supposed to be out of this world.
So I've had oxtail cheesesteaks. I'm not a fan of them, but this is not a critique of Taste Steaks, because I haven't been there at all.
You don't like oxtail cheesesteaks in general, you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's how I feel about salmon cheesesteaks. Like, don't give me no salmon
cheesesteak. I'm not eating any kind of cheesesteak that's not steak.
How about chicken?
Oh, chicken?
No, I don't eat chicken cheesesteaks. No.
Damn. Okay.
I love chicken cheesesteaks.
Number 11. And so Jimmy and Corey both know my work on doing these things and failing at those things, but now I am in an investment club. Shout out to Ivy Big. Don Johnson, I don't know if he's here today, but he also has joined Ivy Big as well. Jimmy is the vice president of the club. So
there you go.
Shout out to him. What? That's a great thing.
I know, but I know there's slander somewhere in you saying that.
There's no slander, brother. I don't slander. I don't slander at all.
Y'all lie to each other so much.
Best statement of the day.
Don't just lie to each other. Just
Yo, side note for all yos that are watching there in Philly, Sunday, December 7th at 4. We are having a holiday party for I'll Be Big, and we want everybody to come out and kick it with us. We, let's have some fun. But go ahead. That's after the 6th, which is our Saturday school. So that weekend is a good weekend for us.
All right. All Black youth organizations should have mandatory money courses. And so I try to live my raps. That's why you see all three of us out in the community. Anytime the youth asks us to come, organizations ask us to come out and speak to the youth, we normally show up if we can, if scheduling permit. Me and Jim was out on Friday. That was not my plan. I had a doctor's appointment and work and clients, but we showed up and we had a great time. Jimmy, wonderful presentation about real estate to the youth.
Thank you, beloved.
All right. Every Black church and religious organization should require that their members take money management courses. I still believe it to this day. Some churches do something, but not full on. And when I say this, I ain't talking about financial literacy. I'm talking about real money. And you know me, you've been rocking with me. I'm not a big fan of what they call financial literacy. Because in my opinion, financial literacy ain't nothing but a disguised word for consumerism. And so they teach you how to balance a checkbook, how to get credit cards, how to spend on credit cards, how to get reward points. They're not really talking about real estate. They're not really talking about stocks. They're not really talking about starting a business. These things that are able to sustain us over a long period of time. Because once you spend that money, I don't care if it's on a credit card or out of a debit card, it's usually gone. You got to put it into something that is going to bring back some kind of value, and whether it's income later on or appreciated value.
Yo, also, I do want to say this too, though, for the religious leaders that watch us. If you do this and your actual constituents have more money, guess what they can do?
Give you
more money.
and for the record, I had a mentor that told me there are no Black churches in formerly Black neighborhoods. And though I don't like him, he was 100% correct. If you don't help the constituents stay in the neighborhood, your church is going to die.
Yeah, it's a good point.
So
I don't know about that, but okay.
No. What he's saying is like when you go to gentrified areas, a lot of times the churches like they
thing that dies is they bring their own. They bring their own.
Because when you said that, I thought about like 5 different neighborhoods. I'm like, yeah, they condos now.
Yeah, them churches become condos, or they become a different church for the new people that moved in.
So what he's saying is, by helping your people maintain their property and all that, that's your base of your operations, right?
Support your base. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, number 14, major Black churches should form new banks or support Black banks already in existence. At the time of writing this, there was one Black bank in Philly. This is 2016. There is still only one Black bank in Philadelphia in 2025. That's sad.
It is.
There's so many points about Black churches, and I don't want to make this about a slander session for Black churches because
Corey do
the things.
I don't.
I'm joking, bro.
Like the slander the Black church.
I'm joking, bro. I'm joking.
But they do some good things. A lot of good things. Shout out to Enon, Jimmy, Corey, and myself were there. Just what was it? 2 weeks ago, a month ago, whatever it was.
2 weeks ago.
With some great youth. By the way, sidebar. Everybody in the comments, please I encourage you all to spend time with the youth. We always talk about this generational divide. A lot of times it's because we are not spending time with the youth. And so we get old and we get funky and we get crabby. I'm guilty because I'm getting old. I'm getting funky.
No, we just want to sit around and criticize them and not really understand why they are the way they are, right?
And so I would encourage you all to spend time with them, like really not talking at them, but talk with them. And I think that will go a long way, y'all.
It's funny because as I mature, learn, and read and engage things, right? When I think about things such as banks and churches, to me, what I thought was a bank and what I thought was a church when I was younger doesn't really play for me, right? So when we say we don't have any Black banks, I think things such as our investment club are a new form of a bank, right? Or hear me out. I know what your rebuttal is going to be, but hear me out. And then when I think about a church, what does it mean to be a church, right? Some will say what we're doing right now and having this conversation on Sunday morning as a church. We call it our finance church, right? So to me, what a bank looks like and what a church looks like is not the big buildings, is not, you know, the pictures of white Jesus, is not none of that, right?
Well,
It's something completely different.
Black Jesus would agree with you because Black Jesus said church is the people, not necessarily the things, the edifices, the building. So I don't disagree with you, Jim. I don't disagree.
That's all. Let's see what the rest of these points are. We don't have to go over. We don't have to go over the other stuff that we was going to talk about in terms of the economy. I think this is actually more interesting.
Okay. All right. So here's a question. Do y'all want us to go over the other stuff? Everybody in the audience, chime in. Let us know. Do you want to go over the other 4 points we had, or this is enough? All right. Multi-generational living. If you go back to us, actually before us being in the U.S., we've always lived multi-generational. It only got to this point when we moved here and we kind of lost our way. But if we want to keep it to the American context and landscape, we've always lived together, or at least we've had cousins close, aunties and uncles close, people that you can look out for you, give you a cup of sugar, draw some eggs, do some things, babysit, pass the culture on. And
you know what else is interesting about this? I want to add something to this multi-generational living. And I know Corey can speak to this even more so than I can, but I know like with even my wife's family, what they would do is, they would do something like buy a house on the block, in the hood or whatever, and help somebody else in the family move on that same block, right? So they might not have even been in the same, roof. And Corey can speak to this more because Corey's grandmom had like 6-7 cribs on the same block where, all his aunts and uncles lived at. So they kind of had their own community within a block. It wasn't necessarily, it didn't have to be the same roof. And I've seen that multiple times too. So that may look a little different than just having one big structure like a compound. You can have a block where, 4 or 5 of your family members live on.
So I grew up on a block where my mom, my aunt, my grandmother had 3 children, and my mom, my aunt, my uncle all had a house on the block. And she had her house, which was the hub. And then I had 2 cousins that also, they weren't homeowners, but they moved on to the block. My grandmother was the homeowner, but they moved on to the block. And so when I talk about growing up around family, I literally grew up around family. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so
think about this, right? Let's say you're in a neighborhood that is a hood neighborhood, right? But if you control the block, that becomes whatever you want it to be. You can be in the quote unquote the worst neighborhood, but if y'all control the block, it's whatever you make it.
Our block won the cleanest block in Philadelphia like 4 years in a row when I was a kid, because everybody on my block, if my grandmother said move, everybody moved because she was the matriarch and we all was family. You know what I mean? Like, and then our neighbors that weren't actually blood relatives, they was family because those are people my grandmother grew up with, or people that grew up in that neighborhood and knew what we had going on the block. And so we never had, I never really had any issues with my older neighbors. Now, as their kids got grown and moved away and they got old and they passed away, then you started to have the more transient people come in, and that's when our neighborhood actually started to shift. And so I know what a neighborhood life cycle looks like from a specific vantage point, because I got to see it as I grew up as a young man growing into adulthood. So
yeah, so that to me is a different form of what you're talking about, Kamari. So it doesn't have to look like the one 10-bedroom. Yeah. So it's different ways to achieve that, man. And if we get back to that, I think
I just said that though, Jim. I didn't say it as well as Corey did, but I said, many times we lived in the community with our peoples, oftentimes on the same block. So
no, you did. That's your thought. Your point is what made me think about Corey's family and the story he always tells. I think that's super dope.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think listen, we have always had enemies amongst us, or we've always been at war. One way to protect against that war is to have people live around you.
Yeah, man. That way you don't end up with the perfect neighbor, right?
So listen, I want to talk about this, Adrian. Adrian says, dude, you're going to need to pay me to be around these kids. No lie. They are raised totally different than I was. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm not an educator. I don't feel like I'm a super duper kid type guy. However, However, I talked to Jim and Corey about this, right? We were out at the Juvenile Justice Center, and we asked kids questions, Jim specifically, about what would they do if they got, some money. This one gentleman said, if I got money, I'm buying straps and I'm buying packs, drugs and guns. That's what he's going to do.
He said, I'm putting the whole block on.
Right? And then fast forward, I just talked about the Elon event. There was a young man, 11 years old, talking about why he wanted to learn about government contracts, right? And so, Adrian, you're going to meet a different swath, like a whole range of different kids. Some of them are beautiful. And I will say this, the more time you spend with the youth, it keeps you youthful, because breaking down or getting older isn't just about the body. It's also about the mind. And so we want to spend time with the youth and get some of that energy, right? That's a cheat code, but I don't know. What do y'all think about that?
You're true. Also, I want to make sure, Adrian is also in Chicago, so there's a different breed of gentleman. She's from the shop, so I want to put that. I'm joking, bro. I'm joking. Because
you got the element everywhere, right? You got.
No, this is true. It's for lack of a better term, there is YN energy everywhere, right?
Everywhere.
But I'm also, because Chicago is such a big city and has a lot of like history and a lot of great Black history, I'm pretty sure there are organizations that are doing the work that have the other kind of, youth that you're speaking of as well, Kamari. So that exists everywhere. Yep. I just had to get that joke off. Yeah, shout out to Chicago though. But so.
But I think you make a great point though, right? So Adrian, you don't have to do it by yourself. Seek out some of these other communities or other organizations that are already doing the work and help them. Now, Jimmy's been making fun of me all week, y'all, because I was at a fundraiser for some local elected officials, right? And we talked a lot about food insecurity. And the one point I made while I was there, I pointed out two people who were also dealing with feeding the homeless and food insecurity. And I believe it's incumbent. My overall point was nonprofits. Everybody wants to create a nonprofit. And oftentimes we overlap services. We never say, how can we help the nonprofits or the organizations that are already in existence? And sometimes we got beef with them, y'all. And so we don't want to be bothered with them. I can be guilty of that. Jimmy will tell you that. I won't talk about it publicly, but there are some things and some people who I cannot stand. They drive me absolute bonkers. I'd rather not be bothered. But sometimes Jimmy and Corey will say, come on, we need you. We need your help. And so it's important to get in places and just push unity, push communication. And that needs to be the thing, because our greatest weapon is not money. Our greatest weapon is love and unity. But ain't nobody talking about that. And I know
yes, they are. We are. So stop saying that. Stop saying that. Because and by the way, we are not alone. There are people talking about it. I'm guilty of that too, Kamari, always saying that. But you know what? I realized I gotta stop saying that, because
I'm not gonna say. Show me examples. Make me a liar. How about that? Let's do a show on that. Examples of love and money. Love and unity.
Examples of people actually having these conversations.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I could put together a little list. Like let's get back to writing, man. Let's your Medium article inspired me. Let's write to some people that are having the conversations that we feel are necessary, right?
And because I do believe it's necessary for us to highlight them. We should be highlighting them. It's one thing to just talk about it and me saying it, and I'm just having a conversation, but to your point, let's highlight them as well.
Because I ain't gonna lie, I've been trying to cleanse my timeline. You know what I'm saying? Although some of my friends are so ratchet, when they send me stuff, they reset my algorithm. So
I'm guilty, y'all. I'm one of the friends.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let me tell you the funniest thing about because listen, if you don't have a real friend unless y'all share IG reels. Like y'all, if y'all ain't sharing IG posts, y'all ain't really friends, right? But some of the most ratchet stuff I get is from my homegirls. That's the craziest part. Some of the most ratchet stuff I get ain't from my bros. It's from anyway, that's neither here nor there. But the point is though, there are some young creators out there who are having the right conversations, that are doing the right things. And some of them, Kamari, because I see you on their posts.
It's one of my favorites. Yes, Jay Williams. Yes.
That young brother is amazing, right?
Dante Kyle
he's amazing, right? He's amazing. So what I'm saying is, that's just two we just pulled out randomly, right? But there are a number of them. But just those two brothers right there, right? The sister that does like the parking lot, she got the Revolt show now. She's super dope, right?
Lynette. Yeah. Let's do it.
So does all right. Let's stop right there because we could play this game forever. We're gonna, maybe we should highlight them in the show. But what I'm saying is that's 3 right there that are having the conversations and are doing it from a place of love and a place of community and not necessarily a place of just criticizing. Because there's a lot of people that criticize y'all always do this, y'all out here. But when you lead with love, it's a different energy and you can feel the energy, right? So I do want to say that it's not just us. There are other people having the conversation. So a lot of times we say no one wants to have that, and I'm guilty of it, but I think I'm gonna stop doing that because instead of talking about what people aren't doing, let's talk about what people are doing. Because a lot of times we criticize and say, man, all this is going on and ain't nobody doing this. It's like, yo, but there are people fighting on the front line every day. I was sharing with Kamari a couple of days ago, and I sent it to Corey Kamari and Karan, shout out brother Karan. I was like, one of the inspirations for the work that we do is the brother who runs the Strawberry Mansion Learning Center. His story is super dope. He's on the front lines every day. But we're quick to say ain't nobody doing nothing, but there are people fighting.
Yep.
Well, see, what I will say about that is that, to back to Kamar's point, is that we're doing it in silos, right? And so we're doing our work, but we're not working together doing our work, right? So the many hands again, many hands make quick work. We're not making quick work of this because we have many hands, but those hands aren't connecting. Those resources aren't connecting. And so what we have people doing all this work in silos. And so back to the individualism point again, where we got to love each other enough to connect to one another. And then that requires trust. So we got to work with each other because I'm more likely to trust you if I see your work, if I see you every day, if I see you show up, if I see you do these things, then you've gained my trust because I know where you're going to be. Because if I say we're going to be here and we're here, that's what we're going to do. So that's what we got to start doing. We got to start showing up for each other so that we can trust each other enough to do it.
Excellent point, Brittany. And I want to say something else to build on what Kamari was talking to Adrian about, right? So Jeff the wealth builder, right? So I did a couple of events for him or whatever, but he did something like, that a lot of people don't do. He sent me a message one day and just literally asked me, he was like, I love what you, Kamari, Corey, are doing. What can I do to help you? That was a simple question. How can I help you? And I bring that up and I shout him out because he actually did that. We could do that for other folks. If you see somebody doing the work, let's call them or send them a message like, how can I help you? Like, because to me, that was super dope. But also, if you see people building and doing the things that you think are important, just ask them that question and then, follow through with it. Because a lot of times it doesn't have to be money. Right? You can, your energy, your time, maybe you got a connection, you connected with somebody. But just if you see somebody doing something like that, in terms of what Brittany said, build coalitions, literally ask somebody, how can I help you with what it is you're doing?
Facts. Don Johnson was in the building.
Don helps. Listen, shout to Don. You know what I'm saying?
Don is amazing.
Don, listen, outside of all the $40 dates Don spends money on, Don puts his money where his mouth is, man. Don has supported us for years. Listen, Don has supported us for years, and when we do something in the community, Don is like, here goes some bread, get that to the kids. Like, so I want to shout out Don because Don is another one of those brothers.
For sure. I will say this, man. Our community is so diverse, and I love the fact that our community is so diverse, right? We have so many diverse opinions in our community, but the bottom line is everybody want to see everybody else win. You know what I mean? Like, and so I can deal with diverse opinions when everybody is looking at the same goal of seeing everybody else win. What I don't like is when people criticize without putting nothing forward toward the cause. Like, you criticize what you were talking about earlier, criticize without putting in the work. Like, who are you? Like, I don't care what you got. If you ain't putting nothing in, who are you? Like, what have you done? Yeah, like, so
I saw like a developer one time. He gave away like $500,000 to like HBCUs or something, right? And people in the comments was criticizing him, why he picked that school. He could have did this, that. I'm like, in the first question that people clapped back at him, what did you do? I mean, crickets. It was straight crickets. It was crickets. Like, so, and Dina kind of encompasses everything that we've been saying for the last half hour in one sentence, right? Because Dina's a genius and we are blatherskites, but Dina kind of encompasses by saying, Dina says, I wish we could get our positive to be just as loud as our negative. That's a problem. And there you go.
Yeah. And you were right about Dina, because she just said real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it right there, Dina. That's it. Thank you, Dina, for summarizing. She treated me like a LLM. I'm gonna summarize all this nonsense you're saying right here with this one sentence.
Nah,
She
but
Gemini
listen,
you.
I mean,
Summarize your whole
to her point, though, to her point, a lot of times we amplify and magnify the bullshit, right? All the bad, but we should be shouting from the mountaintops all the good. When Jimmy does something good, scream it. When Corey does something good, scream it. When Jarrell does something good, scream it. When Adrian does something good, scream it on the mountaintops and make it a big thing.
Yeah, man. Support your people, man, and praise your people when they do good, like Kamari says, man. Like we gotta start like loving each other out loud, man.
Like I will say this though. Shout out to Shawty Solar Country Cooking. She
Amazing.
Gave 4,000. She gave away food to 4,000 people, right? And I think
out her own pocket.
Out of her own pocket. And Saudia gets a lot of negative attention and people hate on her. But I think, in my opinion, this is just Kamari talking, I think she's great. She's a godsend. She organized giving away food to 4,000 people. And guess what? They still criticized her.
They definitely did. People still criticize. How do you find a way to criticize somebody? Like, it's shout to Keisha, because they work together with that. Keisha and Saw, like, and Keisha's like a sister to me. She's good family. But they organized that, gave away food to 4,000 families, and people still found a way to say something, man. This is gonna let you know that no matter what you do, positive or negative, people gonna have something to say, man. So just do the work and ignore folks, man.
But my thing is this: people keep looking at her history without looking at her whole history. Like, if you're gonna look at her history, look at the whole history. She's been doing this for 15 years. She ain't just start doing this because she all of a sudden feels like people need food. She's been doing this for 15 years. And so so this is not new. But all they want to talk about is, she had a case with the feds and this and that. So what? Like, she out here putting in the work. And if she out here putting in the work and she is not doing this because she needs to do this. Saw don't need our money. If you know anything about her and her family, they don't need our money.
But here's the thing. She's doing her thing. What are you doing? Not you, Corey, but the people that
criticize her. What are you doing?
What are y'all doing? Like, she really been out here doing this. She been doing book bag drives and feeding communities and doing this stuff for 15 years. Where are you? What have you been doing? Why aren't you helping her? Why aren't you doing your own thing? Like, why are you criticizing? You're doing everything but what you should be doing, which is doing the things that you're talking about her not doing.
All right, so I want to answer Gerald's question. Gerald, no, this is not me. This is a local artist and entrepreneur out of Philadelphia. Shout out to my brother Don Scott, and this is part of his brand. It's called, if you go on IG, it's a DNTN brand. But Don Scott is like a legendary artist here in Philadelphia. My man got like 30 murals all across the city that he does. Like, he does painting and all that stuff, but he also creates a clothing brand. And this is
I was like, damn. Oh, I didn't know that. But see, I didn't know that was him though.
Yeah, but so I'm just supporting my bro. You know what I'm saying? This is his brand here, so that's what that is, man.
Okay, so I want to go back to this. Adrian said this. She said there was an organization that I donated to for Black girls. I'll go back to that, and that's dope. And I want to expound on what I was saying before. We all have different talents and gifts. We all have different things that we can do. We don't have to be pigeonholed to just do one thing. Some of us are meant to just give money, right? Some of us, it ain't our ministry to get out there and go talk to the youth. All right, that's cool. But again, if it's not, find other ways to give. There is not one way to do a thing. And we need people and resources and everything that we do. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah,
listen,
I just don't like people that criticize without doing nothing. Like, you're not doing anything. You haven't donated to anything. You haven't showed up and gave time to anything. You haven't said or given one piece of positive reinforcement or constructive criticism to any organization. But yet you got bars for people who out here actually doing work. And those people are going to consistently have me on the internet cussing their ass out.
You know what? I'm gonna live my raps. I'm about to shoot Keisha a message now, man. It's like, do exactly what I said. How can we help?
Right.
Yeah, because
I'm gonna live my raps, man.
So again, I can't be everywhere, and neither can we. We can't be everywhere, but you can be places. Like y'all, man. Listen, man. Me and Jim was a street team for years. Now me, Jim, and Kamari are a street team now. You know what I mean? Like it's real out here. And Kamari, as you can see, he's been doing the work for years. He just had an article that we just talked about ad nauseum
a decade ago.
It was 10 years old. You know what I mean? Like that'll tell you the work he's been putting in. So it's like, yes, our economy is in a mix, but our economy has been in the mix before. Like we have had presidents worse than old boys, but we don't. But the thing is, those presidents weren't doing this with the advent of the technology that we have right now, and that's the major difference between what he's doing and what they're doing, because he has a lot more levers to pull than they had when they were doing the same things that he was doing.
Bar's in the building. What up, Bar?
Bar, what's up, beloved?
Bro, what's going on? We was actually at an event with Bar.
Bar spoke at an event Thursday. Yo, I want to say this. One of Kamari's point was to patronize black businesses, and one black business could be Supplement, right? They make the best bottles there is, right? And shout out to Supplement for their support. That's our sponsor. Go to getsupplement.com, right?
Bottles the best.
Yeah, the highest quality bottles you can get a Supplement bottles. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, getsupplement.com. You know what I'm saying? And you go support Supplement. That's how you patronize a black business. But I digress.
All right, so listen, church is definitely off the rails today, but we could just want to keep going. Jarrell,
go ahead. You got it?
No, go ahead, Jim.
All right, Jarrell says, but I'm learning that you got to offer help to people making change because y'all already got enough on your plate from changing lives and helping the community. We all got to play our part. Respect y'all. And Jarrell, we appreciate you because Jarrell supports us as well.
Respect and love. Also, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Listen, appreciate you, Jarrell.
Our community isn't 5,000 people, but the people in our community, they support us like 5,000 people. Anything that we get into, they get into with us.
Nicole says, I sent my son to her back to school event to volunteer and that's what we're talking about. Like he got a skill set. He cuts hair. He ain't got to have a bunch of money. Now, I mean, not saying he don't, because he's your son, so he probably do got a bunch of money. But I'm saying is he has a skill. He has a skill that he can offer to help, right? And this is what we're talking about. This is how you build community.
Facts. So Nicole, Jamal's a barber. I didn't know that because I think you mentioned that the other day. So that's dope. But I'll say this. Jimmy often jokes that I'm the mayor.
You are
not. But here's the thing, and this is before anybody told me to do this or that it was a good thing to do. I would volunteered with campaigns, volunteered with homeless, volunteered with youth. I just wanted to be with the people whenever I could. So again, I feel I didn't know it at the time, but it's actually a great way to build your network. And then my mentor told me years that I started doing that, free. Go volunteer for free, and it's a great way to build your network. And it's phenomenal, but a lot of times people put the money first and not the value first. Mm-hmm. And value always is with the people. Right now, sometimes you do have to be studious about filtering out some of the nonsense, but I don't think you can ever go wrong with people. So.
And Matt could be cooking in the comments. Forward-thinking mentality is best. You've maintained a long-standing messaging. Don't mind the detractors is normally a mirror of their ineffectiveness.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
Yeah, people do like to project their insecurities and everything on you.
That's a fact.
I was literally just watching a video where Jay-Z was talking about this. He was talking about his uncle and how his uncle always told him, man, you ain't never going to sell 1 million records. And he said what he realized is
I sold a million records 1,000 times.
He said that's why he made that bar. That's why he made that bar, because his uncle used to always tell him that. He said the crazy part is he's like, I know my uncle loves me. He's like, that's my uncle. He was like, but at the same time, my uncle was using his life experiences and him projecting his insecurities onto me. So from his standpoint, he's like, you know what, you can do that because where we come from, people don't do that. So you gotta be careful with the messaging you're getting.
All right. So Nicole said yes, Jamal's her son, y'all, her older son. Is a barber, and maybe if you guys want to help the youth with free haircuts for the holidays. Okay. And so
that's good to know.
You'll find this interesting. I said when I retire, I might become a barber and just give free haircuts to single moms with boys and just give back.
So you fishing with that one?
I said when I'm retired, so I'm old. I ain't fishing. I ain't trying to be a sugar daddy. I ain't looking for no sugar babies. Man, just trying to help people.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry.
Kamari / Nate.
That sound like a Nate play right there. You got so specific though. Single moms, like you sound like a dude that want to coach football for nefarious reasons, man.
Oh man, just
Kamari turned into Nate real quick.
No, Nate. No.
I know Nate Gang is in the chat. Ant, did that sound Nate-ish or not? Don. Did that sound like a Nate play he was setting up right there? I want to know, are we making this up or that sounded kind of Nate?
I had to remove one for them because they're slandering my name. They are just egregious, y'all.
Kamari morphed into Nate.
Y'all are terrible. Y'all worse than the haters out here. Y'all taking my good idea and trying to make it for Nateism.
Oh man, listen, man. Nate was a neighborhood savior, bro.
No, he was not. He was a predator. But go ahead, go off, y'all.
You can't prey on somebody who asked you for something. He wasn't seeking her out. How was that praying?
All right, I'm gonna stop this now before we go down a whole rabbit hole because she prayed on him. But all right, let's move on.
I disagree, but go ahead.
Right, Anthony is in the chat and say yes, you did in fact sound like Nate.
See, that's the problem. Y'all minds is always in the gutter.
You could have said that I want to retire and be a barber and like give haircuts to youth that can't afford it, right?
The problem is, y'all minds is always in the gutter.
Hear me?
I'm trying to rise and elevate. Y'all want to maintain.
My mind.
Listen,
what are you talking about?
If you would have said, I want to retire and give haircuts to the youth that need it that can't afford it.
I was just trying
you said to single moms. You got real specific. Hey, shout out to Champ. What's up, Champ? The Champ is here. You said it sounds like a Nate play, man.
It sounds like it, but it ain't.
Don called you the boule Nate.
Yo, I don't know.
Hey, yo.
Is worse or Steve's worse.
Don, that is the greatest quote. That's the greatest comment today, Don. All the intellectual comments, and that's the best one. The boule Nate, man. Ascot Nate is in the building, man.
Oh, man. Boule Nate. Y'all terrible.
It's Rich said it too. It's the way you said it. It's the Nate scholarship. I thought you could have phrased that so many different ways. Yeah.
Oh God.
My stomach hurts,
yo.
He said, "I want to retire and be a barber."
The majority of single parents out there are the ladies, but no, this is not a Nateism.
He was like, "Retire. I want to retire, be a barber for curvy single moms."
Oh God.
Yo, this is supposed to be church, right? See, that's the problem. No, it's terrible, man.
Oh God, yo, oh man, oh, my hurt, man. Oh man, that was a good. That's the best laugh I had in a few weeks, man.
He called him the boule Nate is amazing, yo. Don is hilarious, yo.
Thank you, Brittany. Appreciate the love and support. Thank you.
Oh God, yo.
Oh man. All right, y'all, man. Listen, so this has been a sermon, man. We Kamari's article, man. And listen, man, I want to salute you, brother. You went off the the boule Nate and all that. Even being a boule Nate, I just like to see the fact that you've been doing the work for that long and it is documented. So this turned into a review of your article, but I think it was important to do so. That's where the conversation took us, and I just want to salute you for doing the work for so long. It's documented.
Thank you. That's hard to say though, but Anthony, you so
Omega sign name. Yo! I think Kamari wants a single mom to join his special fraternity.
Yo.
It would be a special sorority. I would have my own sorority.
Oh man. Yo, y'all are hilarious.
Oh God, yo.
So I as we get out of here, there was one thing I wanted to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's get to it.
I can't find it now. That's all. Listen, the economy, the markets are still going to be rough. Your job is to keep investing, mind your business, save your money, and just keep going.
Build your skills.
Yep, build your skills, because those are the things that have always paid dividends over time.
That's right. Read more.
Yes, read, and not just read Nate specials. All right, y'all. So y'all be great. We will see y'all on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, if not before.
We'll see y'all this week. If you're in the village, we're gonna see you before. Oh, real quick, last thing I want to say before we get out of here.
All right.
We were supposed to hold you accountable. You were supposed to drop 2 of those joints by
Ooh.
Friday, right? And now
Yeah.
we here Sunday. So as your accountability.